Axial spondyloarthropathy. Axial spondyloarthropathy includes classical ankylosing spondylitis (AS) as well as axial spondyloarthritis. Inflammatory changes in the entire skeleton are characteristics of axial spondyloarthritis and can be visualized by MRI. Structural alterations such as new bone formation with syndesmophytes and ankylosis develop later in the course of the disease. Accordingly, the criteria for diagnosis ankylosing spondylitis, which require evidence of sacroiliitis on X-ray, are often only able to be applied many years after a patient's symptoms started. Not all patients with axial spondyloarthritis will go on to develop ankylosing spondylitis. Now, pathophysiology. Axial spondyloarthritis and ankylosing spondylitis arise from an interaction between environmental pathogens and the host immune system in genetically susceptible individuals. Increased fecal carriage of Klebsiella aerogenes has been reported in patients with established ankylosing spondylitis and may relate to exacerbation of both joint and eye disease. There is increasing evidence that axial spondyloarthritis and ankylosing spondylitis are due to an abnormal host response to the intestinal microbiota with involvement of Th17 cells, which have a key role in mucosal immunity. This leads to production of various inflammatory cytokines including interleukin-12, interleukin-23, interleukin-17 and TNF-alpha, which play vital roles in the pathogenesis of enthesitis and other inflammatory lesions. There is a strong association between axial spondyloarthropathy and carriage of the major histocompatibility complex MAC class 1 molecule HLA-V27. This is particularly striking in patients defined as having ankylosing spondylitis, more than 95% of whom are positive for HLA-V27. Other susceptibility genes also implicated in susceptibility to ankylosing spondylitis include ERAP1, an endoplasmic reticulum protein with a role facilitating intracellular antigen processing and binding with its presenting MAC molecule HLA-V27. The interleukin-23 receptor and downstream signaling molecules involved in directing Th17 cell responses such as STAT3. The HLA-V27 molecule itself is implicated through its antigen-presenting function or because of its propensity to form homodimers that activate leukocytes. HLA-V27 molecules may also misfold, causing increased endoplasmic reticulum stress. This could lead to inflammatory cytokine release by macrophages and dendritic cells, thus triggering inflammatory disease. Now, comparison of diagnostic criteria for axial spondyloarthritis and ankylosing spondylitis. Modified New York criteria. Imaging axial spondyloarthritis where sacroiliitis on MRI only. In ankylosing spondylitis, bilateral sacroiliitis on X-ray even if changes are mild. Unilateral sacroiliitis on X-ray if changes are definite. History for axial spondyloarthritis: back pain for more than 3 months that has 4 of the following characteristics: improved by exercise, not relieved by rest, insidious onset, night pain, age at onset less than 45, and good response of back pain to NSAID. Family history of spondyloarthritis, history of inflammatory bowel disease. History favoring ankylosing spondylitis includes low back pain for more than 3 months, improved by exercise and not relieved by rest. In clinical examination of axial spondyloarthritis, there is arthritis, enthesitis, uveitis, dactylitis, psoriasis. For ankylosing spondylitis, limitation of lumbar spine movement in sagittal and frontal planes. Chest expansion reduced. Investigation for axial spondyloarthritis includes HLA-V27 positive and elevated CRP. Now, axial spondyloarthritis is diagnosed from sacroiliitis on MRI plus one other feature on history, clinical examination or investigation. The diagnosis can also be made in HLA-V27 positive patients with more than one clinical feature in the absence of sacroiliitis. Ankylosing spondylitis can be diagnosed on X-ray evidence of sacroiliitis with one other feature on history or examination. Now, pathophysiology of axial spondyloarthropathy. In genetically susceptible individuals, it is thought that bacterial components penetrate the mucosal barrier to activate macrophages and dendritic cells in the intestinal submucosa. These cells produced increased amounts of interleukin-23, which acts on T cells, neutrophils and mast cells to make interleukin-17. Interleukin-17 in turn has a pivotal role in driving inflammation, causing sacroiliitis and enthesitis. Presentation of antigen by dendritic cells also plays a pathogenic part in activating T cells. And tumor necrosis factor produced by macrophages and activated T cells contributes to the pathogenesis of inflammation. Production of interleukin-22 by T cells is thought to be involved in causing the new bone formation that is typical of axial spondyloarthropathy. This figure shows genetic predisposition. The genes are HLA-V27, ERAP1, STAT3, IL-23R. Environmental triggers, that is gut flora, microbial products, goes into stimulate dendritic cell macrophage, which causes release of interleukin-17, TNF-alpha from T cell, interleukin-17 from neutrophil, interleukin-17 from mast cell, TNF-alpha from macrophage. This causes inflammation and inflammation, that is sacroiliitis. Interleukin-22 that is released from T cells causes new bone formation.